this is Marika, and welcome back to another session with me. So, in our previous session, we were discussing about a method of teaching that is project method, right? We have also discussed various methods of teaching, which is lecture, demonstration, field trip, panel discussion, seminar, symposium, and we have seen in detail what are these methods, how it is used as a method of teaching, what are the characteristics, what are the guidelines to be followed, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of using those methods. Today, we are going to deal with one very interesting method of teaching, which is not frequently used in education, yet which is very effective. The topic for today's discussion is workshop. When we hear the term workshop, usually industry or something that is related with cars and vehicles comes to our mind, right? Now, we also have education workshop. Let us first see what workshop in general is and what is an educational workshop, all right? Now, the term workshop is used for any area that actually provides the space and the tools that are required for manufacturing and repairing of goods. Okay, so a workshop usually is termed to certain areas which provides space and also all the tools that are required for manufacturing and repairing of certain articles or goods, right? What is education workshop then? Similar to what a workshop is in general, education workshop is also similar to what workshop in general is. In education workshop as well, there will be experts who will provide training and skills and knowledge to deal with problems. Okay, so in education workshop, we will have experts who will help us deal with the problem. They'll provide us knowledge and skills that is required to deal with certain problems. All right. Now, workshop is a teaching method which is usually used in order to increase or improve the psychomotor skills of the learners. Okay, it will help to develop the psychomotor skill of the learner who are involved in workshop. In education, the psychomotor skills, that is anything related to the education system, could be new innovations, in education or principles that are followed in education. Okay, so in education workshop, the skills and knowledge that is related to a particular problem is provided. All right. Now, under workshop, as a method of teaching, the learners are required to carry out practical work. All right, it is not theoretical classes. In this, the learners have to actually get involved in practical work. Let us now see what is the definition of workshop. Workshop is defined as an assembled group of 10 to 25 people, who come together because they have a common interest or common problem. All right. So there will be assembled people. Okay, around 10 to 25 people will be assembled. Those people who are assembled either share a common problem or they have a common interest. Now, what will this assembled people of around 10 to 20 will do? The people meet together in order to improve their skills and knowledge related to the problem or their topic of interest, right? So here in workshop, there will be around 10 to 25 people who will assemble, and these people will share a common problem or a common topic of interest, right? Now, these people, they come together so that they can improve their knowledge and skill related to the topic of interest. Now, how will they improve their knowledge and skills? They will improve their knowledge and skills through intensive studies, through researches, practice, and discussion. So this definition of workshop says that people come together who share common interest and goal. There will be around 10 to 25 people who will assemble and they will have a discussion. They do intensive study on their topic of interest. They do researches and also practice about the topic of interest. Now, the workshop is primarily designed in order to make sure that the learners go through the experience. Okay, so workshop is usually carried out to make sure that learner actually experience the entire procedure or the entire process. It is not about theoretical lectures or theoretical classes. The learners are made to experience the certain situation or the procedure. So this method of teaching believes in learning by doing. Now, the workshop is usually used in higher education such as universities, okay? But there may be various workshops that are conducted in a university, in different education system, in different educational institutions. But this does not mean that every workshop's procedure and features must be same. The feature and the procedure of workshop differs from one workshop to another, but it is an effective method of learning and it is usually used in higher education. Next, we have workshop is a meeting. Workshop is actually a kind of meeting where experienced people come together with experts and consultants, have a discussion to find solutions to the problem. Okay, so experienced people who are in responsible position will meet up with experts and consultants of the particular aspect of the topic and have a discussion so that they can find the solution to the problem that they have chosen or their topic of interest. Now, a workshop may introduce a new idea to the learners or to the participants, right? Workshop can be used to introduce a new idea to the participant. It might also encourage the participants to explore the topic on their own. Or it might also be to illustrate the actual process involved or the actual problem involved. Okay, so a workshop is carried out in order to generate new ideas. The workshop may be able to provide new ideas to the learners. It might also encourage the learner to participate more and to explore the topic more on their own. Or it can also be used to illustrate a certain idea or a process. Now, workshop is a great method of teaching because it gives the learners opportunity to try out new method, and if in case they fail, to fail in a safe environment. The learners or the participants will be carrying out various new things that they learn, various new procedures that they learn, right? It will give them the opportunity to practice those procedure, and also if in case they fail, to fail in a safe environment. Okay, it will help them to develop their skills, to improve their psychomotor skills. It will help them to try out new method, and if in case they fail, they can fail in a safe environment, not in a real life situation, but a situation that is similar to the real life. So I hope you've understood what workshop is till now, right? Let us now see what are the essential features of a workshop. The first feature is, in a workshop, there should be complete and active involvement and participation by the learner. Okay, so the first feature is complete and active participation by all the learners. All right. The next feature is, the whole point of conducting a workshop is attention to the work, right? So workshop is carried out to make sure that the work, the problem that they have chosen is given importance to, is given attention to, and to learn from experiences. All right, so the main focus of the workshop is to make sure that the learner actually experience it and learn from their experiences. The next feature is, participants may have to learn from practical experiences, right? As I said, there's nothing related to theory here, right? So the experiences of the learner is what through which the learners actually learn about the particular topic. The next feature is, workshop actually gives an opportunity to all the learner to make their own contribution. So each member involved in the workshop can give their own contribution towards the problem or towards their topic of interest. Next, we have principles of workshop. Allow the participants to select and prepare objectives. So the participants of the workshop must be given the opportunity to select their objectives and to actually formulate their objectives. Doing so will help to increase the interest of the participants. The first principle says that the participants must be given the opportunity to select and to formulate their educational objectives of the workshop in order to make sure that the participants are motivated. Giving participants an active role will obviously make the teaching learning process more interactive and more interesting, right? The next principle is improvement of person's attitude towards other people. Through workshop, people will be able to improve their attitude towards other people. The next one is learn better human relation. Okay, so in this one, When I say workshop, it is not just about one individual coming and carrying out the practical work, right? There will be various individuals involved. There will be experts involved. So this will provide the opportunity to the learners to have a network, to create a network among the people who are actually participating, right? It will teach them about better human relation. Next one is every individual has their own worth and they contribute to the workshop. As I said, when we discussed about the essential features, we have seen that every individual will give their own contribution, will have their own contribution. Workshop provides them that opportunity, right? So similarly, every individual will be able to give their contribution towards the common goal. That is the topic of workshop. Let us now see the objectives of workshop. What are the different objectives of the workshop? So first, if we take education process, we know that education process has two different aspects, the theoretical part and the practical aspect. When we take a workshop, we know it is about the practical aspect of education system, right? So here in workshop, we focus on developing the psychomotor skills of an individual. The workshop is mainly aimed at developing the psychomotor skill of an individual related to a particular topic. So the main purpose or the main objective of the workshop is to make sure that the psychomotor skills of an individual is developed along with their cognitive behavior. Next one, we have preparation of workshop, how to prepare for a workshop. The success of the workshop largely depends on how the arrangements are made and how it is planned before the actual workshop is carried out. Which means to carry out a proper workshop, to have a successful workshop, we have to make sure that it is well planned, well thought out, and it is executed in a good manner. All the arrangements must be done beforehand and all the planning that is required must be done beforehand. Now, what are those activities that are to be carried out in the planning phase or before the actual workshop begins? The first one is opening a file, which means opening the workshop. Okay, so in this, we have to make sure we see that we create a suitable system. We create a suitable system in which the calculation and arrangement for the budget, the seating arrangement of the individuals, selection of the participants, documentation and checklist of all the articles, and finally evaluation is planned. Okay, so in the beginning, before we actually carry out the workshop, we have to make sure that not just the budget is planned for the workshop, but along with the budget we have to plan a suitable environment where we see the budget, the seating arrangement, the participants who are participating in the workshop, how it will be documented, how will it be evaluated, and also checklist of all the equipments that are to be used during the process of workshop. That we have to do in preparation of workshop is formulating objectives. Aims and objectives not just for the participants of the workshop but for the organizers of the workshop must be formulated. Once we have planned who are the participants, what will be the budget, how will people be seated, how will we evaluate the method, we have to make sure that we prepare a proper objective not just for people who are participating but also for those people who are organizing the workshop. So while formulating objectives, we have to keep in mind that during the first aspect of workshop, theoretical part is actually taken and discussed by the experts. So we have to formulate the objectives accordingly. We have to see that in the first part of the workshop, a theoretical session will be conducted by the expert on the particular theme that is selected. Okay, according to that, we have to formulate the educational objectives. The next one is arrangement of funds. The whole program is scheduled and actually planned by the organizers. Okay, so fund arrangement is also done by the organizers. Those who are involved in organizing the workshop must arrange the fund that is required to carry out a workshop. The fund could not just be for purchasing the equipment that is required for the workshop, but the organizers have to keep in mind the fund that is required for boarding and lodging of all the people who are involved in the workshop. the participants and the experts who will be actually involved in the workshop. So the arrangement of the fund is actually carried out by the organizers. They not only will see and arrange the fund for the equipments that are required, but they have to make sure that they look after the boarding and lodging of the participants and the experts involved. Next one is choosing a place and a date. Of course, to carry out an event, you need to have a proper date. You need to select a proper date and a place where the workshop will be actually conducted, right? So workshop is not necessary to be conducted within one day, right? It might even extend more than 1 or 2 days, right? Usually it is carried out for around 3 days. So for the first day of workshop, a non-working day is actually selected. Now, once the date is selected, the first day is usually the day which is a non-working day, and then the workshop is followed by other days, okay? Next, we have selection of the place. So while selecting a place for the workshop, the organizers have to make sure that they select a place which will actually have enough space to carry out the workshop. So it should be a place which has enough space and which will allow all the participants to be actively involved in the process without any interruption. Alright, so while selecting the date and place, the date on the first day, usually a non-working day, is selected. And then while we select the place, we have to make sure that the place is calm, it is quiet, and it will give the opportunity for all the participants to actually participate in the process without any interruption. The next phase is identifying or choosing the resource person. So as I have said in the introduction and definition, in the workshop, we will have experts and consultants, right? So here we have to find out the experts and the resource person who will be dealing with the particular topic. So while organizing a workshop, it is the resource person who will be actively involved in theoretical as well as practical aspect of the topic, right? So that we should select the expert according to the topic that we are discussing, right? And the expert must have enough knowledge and skills to make sure that the people who are participating will learn it from the resource person. So it is the resource person or the expert who will provide guidance during the workshop, and they will also help the people or the participants at every stage and also train them to perform those procedures or those skills that are required. Therefore, a person who has enough knowledge, not just theoretical knowledge, but also has practical skills, must be selected as the resource person for the particular workshop. Alright, next we have selection of participants. Now that we have a seating arrangement done, we have the funds arranged, and we also know what is the topic to be discussed, what are the educational objectives. Now, we also have decided the resource person. Now we need to decide who are the participants of the workshop, who will be the participants for the particular workshop. Now, to select the participants, we have to see that the participants actually have the keenness and interest on the particular topic. As I said, a workshop is conducted where people will come together who share common interest or a problem, right? So we have to make sure that all the participants are actually interested in the particular theme that is selected. Next stage is invitation to the participants. Now we have selected the participants and we have to invite those participants for the workshop. For inviting the participants, we have to send a personal letter to each and every participant which contains certain details about the workshop. Okay, so to invite the participant, we have to send an individual and personal letters for all the participants. Those letters will contain certain information about the workshop, like aims of the workshop, the method that is used in the workshop, and the theme of the workshop. So the main purpose of this letter is to make sure that the participants are aware about the theme, what are the different aims that are to be met after the workshop is conducted, and what is the method that is followed, the procedure that is followed during the workshop. Now let us see the outcomes of the workshop. The major outcome of the workshop should be widening specified knowledge. So from the beginning itself, we have been discussing that workshop is carried out to increase the knowledge, to widen the knowledge and skill of an individual. So the first outcome is widening the skill or the knowledge of an individual. The next one is professional and personal growth. It should help an individual to develop personally as well as professionally. And the last one is friendship, team spirit, and better human relations. So as I said in workshop, it is not an individual who is involved. There are several individuals who are involved, and it will help and give the opportunity to all the participants to improve their networking, right? So it will help them to develop friendship, develop team spirit, as well as develop a better human relation with all the people involved. Let us now see the benefits of conducting a workshop. The first one is novel ways of thinking. So every individual is not same, and everybody do not have a similar kind of thinking towards the world and towards the procedures and the problems of the world, right? Every individual has different thinking and different perception. Now, attending a workshop will help an individual to sometimes get a remarkably new idea of the particular aspect, right? My way of thinking about the particular topic is different, but when I attend workshop, I get to understand the thinking towards that particular problem or the topic from various different aspects. Sometimes those aspects, those ways of thinking of other people might be totally out of what I am thinking. So participating in a workshop will help the individual to sometimes get a remarkably new ways of thinking or new ways to look at a particular problem. Next one is opportunities for networking. So as I said, while conducting a website, there will be several individuals involved. You will be making up new relationships, right? Building up new relationship, becoming friends with the people who are involved, and making new connection, which is actually very important for the personal growth of an individual. And networking with those people who actually have common interests like we have, right? We get to meet people who share common interest or common problems, and we get to meet new people and develop new connection with the people who actually has similar interest or problems. Next one is inspired to work better. So when we attend a workshop, we attend a workshop where there will be large audience. There will be audience who will actually who will actually be involved in the workshop, right? So attending a workshop in front of a large number of audience who appreciate what you have done, who appreciate the work that is being carried out, is one of the way to encourage oneself. It will inspire the person to work better. And the last one is having fun while learning. So workshop, it is carried out practically, right? We not only develop a good human relation or good connection with the people around, it will help us to learn through our experiences, which is actually fun. So when a person is happy, the productivity and the creativity of the person also increases, right? So the person during the so the person who are participating in the workshop will be involved in the process of workshop. They will enjoy the process of workshop and also learn from the workshop. Let us now see the demerits of workshop. Now, while conducting a workshop within the classroom, sometimes it may be difficult to get a space that is large enough to actually conduct a workshop. The next one, while conducting workshop within the classroom or for the class, it might be difficult to adjust all the student to carry out the workshop in one single session. Okay. Sometimes, as I said, workshop is not usually carried out just for a day, right? So to conduct workshop, it requires time, proper planning and proper funding. And in spite of doing all these things, it might not be sometimes possible to accommodate all the students or adjust all the students to attend the workshop in a single session. And the last one is handling all the learners or all the students to teach them hand-on skills or teach them skills at a particular session may also be difficult for the teachers or the experts. All right. So as I said, workshop is conducted to make sure that the skill, the psychomotor skill, is improved of the learner, right? So to carry out the skills and to see that each and every individual has actually developed the skill, to find out and to evaluate that might sometimes be difficult if the class is large. So these are the various merits and demerits of workshop. To conclude, today we have discussed about what is a workshop, what are the characteristics, what is the essential feature of workshop, planning and preparation of workshop, conducting a workshop, and various advantages and disadvantages of a workshop. I hope the class was helpful, and I'll see you all in the next session where we will discuss about another important method of teaching. Thank you and have a great day ahead.